Oh, yes, it is a brand new year. And what a way to bring in the new year with a fresh episode of Mortgage 101, your guide to homeownership, with Clinton Wilkins and myself, Todd Vino, right here in our fine city of Halifax. Clinton Wilkins, Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year to you too, Todd. This is the first time I feel like I've seen you in like so long.
Did you miss me over the holidays?
I mean, of course I did.
Yeah? You bought a new vehicle, I see.
Yeah, I did. I leased a new vehicle. I ordered a vehicle a year ago. And, of course, you know, vehicles are taking so long to come in now.
Yeah.
And my lease was up on my old one. And I probably made the most responsible decision that
Why do you call it responsible? It's still like a $70,000 vehicle or something, or 80 or whatever it is. Yeah.
It just isn't to the excess that I would normally go to. Because you know what I'm very cognizant about right now?
Yes.
Obviously inflation.
Debt.
Mary Debtmas, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm very cognizant of what's going on in the rate environment and what's going on in the economy. So, you know, these things are, you know, impacting my decision.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think it's a great time. Like, I've been even looking at it personally, business-wise, like what are the needs and what are the wants.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, for those people who are, we've got new listeners all the time, just tuning in, let everybody know a bit about what you do, and how many seasons have we done this, by the way?
So I think this is the fifth season in this
fifth,
format.
Yes,
fifth. Our producers will tell us if this is fifth or not. I don't know. We'll maybe get a thumbs up here at some point. You know, we've been doing the show. It's been on the air. We've done it live, and we've now obviously been doing it pre-recorded. So this is actually recorded a couple days before it's on the air. Mm-hmm. You know, we talk about news. We talk about what's going on in the mortgage industry in Canada. We talk about what's going on in real estate from across this country, and really what's going on here in Halifax. That's where we live, obviously, and that's where I'm doing business as a mortgage broker. I've been in the industry for 17 years, Todd.
Everybody knows you. Let's face it. Well, and I mean this when I say this.
In Halifax.
In Halifax, I call you the mortgage guru, and that is true. You are that guy, right? Everybody knows you. You do all kinds of media, and you love it. I mean, you love it, and it shows, right?
And I think, you know what, I'm an expert at really what I am, you know, doing every day. I, you know, might not be an expert in everything in life. I don't think anybody else is.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm an expert at mortgage lending, residential mortgage lending. That's what I do every day. Last year, we passed $1 billion worth of mortgages funded.
Yep.
With me and my team, we've done over 5,000 transactions. So I always say, you know, we've seen everything, but every day we see something new. So, you know, I think coming on the air, doing our podcast, it's really great to be able to get the information out to consumers. And I think this year, more than ever, 2023, all about education.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of, and I'm a client of yours, of course, by the way. Do you do a lot of hand holding when it comes to your clients? Like you guys, I think you guys are not a typical kind of business when it comes to this. I think you guys actually look at it from a 30,000 foot view when it comes to a client, right? You truly do that.
I think some people need more hand holding than others, Todd.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs the same level of hand holding, which is fair, obviously. Some people need a lot of hand holding. Some people we're checking in with, you know, several times throughout the year. But, you know, one thing we really pride ourselves on, we like to at least touch base with our clients once a year. A lot changes in people's lives.
You do a review.
We do a review, an annual review, so that we're talking about things like, has anything changed with their income or their assets or their credit? Has there been a matrimonial breakdown? Have they had health issues? Have there been a career change? Has there been a job loss? You know, there's so many things that impact people's finances.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously we know the mortgage is often a consumer's biggest debt and their home is their biggest asset. So we want to be a part of their team. And I think what we do, we really try to be unbiased. We deal with a variety of different lenders. I throw out the number 40. We deal with so many different lenders. And everybody's situation is different, and I think that's what's really, really cool.
Yes, and you've always stated that you can technically get anybody approved.
Yeah, you know, I think every consumer can get a mortgage, Todd, and I think every consumer can get a mortgage depending on what their situation is, but it may just be, you know, you have to maybe pay a higher interest rate, or maybe you need to have more skin in the game depending on what's going on. Obviously, some of the big impacts are income, and some of the big impacts are credit, and some of the big impacts, obviously, are assets. To put all that together to figure out what the best solution is going to be. But, you know, every consumer can get a mortgage, and I think that's what's really cool. We talk to so many consumers every day that they've been into their bank branch and, you know, they've been declined, and they come to us, and I'm like, you know what, this is a great file. We can get this done for X, Y, and Z.
Why
reasons.
are you different? Why can you get it done when others can't?
I think part of the reason is that, this is the only thing that we're trying to do. We're not trying to cross-sell you into a bunch of different products.
Yeah. Although you will do that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody needs insurance and things like that, we're certainly going to talk to them about that. But I'm not trying to give you a credit card or a unsecured line of credit or a bank account. Yeah. We're really talking about the secured lending and protecting the secured lending. Mm-hmm. I think the reason that we can get clients approved and maybe they walk into a branch and they can't get approved is that lender only does what they will do within their box. But different lenders, even within the big five, have different appetites for different types of clients. Yeah. And that's where we're really able to look at all their paperwork, look at their file, and then figure out what the best solution is going to be.
What's the biggest stumbling block when it comes to a client when you look at all of in its totality, all the aspects of a client, and you go, oh, why that? Why is this a problem? What's that? What is it? Credit? I'm assuming, obviously. I mean, maybe not.
Credit, it can be a challenge. Income can be a challenge, and assets can be a challenge. Yeah. And if there's a gap in one of those, Todd, sometimes that means that you're not going to get the very best deal that you think you're going to get. Yeah. And sometimes it may not be a deal that you're going to do with one of the big five. Maybe it becomes a deal that needs to be done with an alternative lender or a lender that's going to be taking on more additional risk for some reason. Mm-hmm. I think the ones that really kind of ring true to me are the ones that are surprised when there's a challenge. Yeah. Usually people know if the income's not quite there or they know the credit's not that great. Yeah. But I think it's the most challenging when people are not aware when they come in, because then sometimes we have to be the bearer of maybe not the very best news, but we say, hey, this is possible if you can do Y.
Yeah. In that situation, and you and I have had this conversation before, not often, but many times it's couples. And sometimes there's a surprise.
They don't talk.
Well, they don't talk. And that can be, I'm sure, awkward at the very least.
I think certainly there have been awkward conversations. I've had one spouse reach out to me to be like, okay, don't let the other spouse know what's going on. Obviously, we're not going to breach anyone's privacy, but there's only so many things that I can protect somebody from knowing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, we certainly have had those type of situations. And sometimes it's one spouse is in really good financial position and one's in a really terrible financial position. Usually that's not the case. Yeah. Usually, the whole household unit is great or the whole household unit is terrible. Yeah. There's usually not, one's good, one's bad. Yeah. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen.
Right.
And oftentimes, if there is a spouse that maybe have had credit issues in the past, but the other one can qualify on their own, sometimes we'll just do it in one person's name. Yeah. There's nothing preventing us from doing that. Yeah. And there's lots of legal mechanisms that can protect the other spouse. Yeah. Which
like what? You say legal mechanisms.
So, if you're legally married and you're buying a principal residence and the other spouse is not on title, the Matrimonial Property Act here in Nova Scotia would protect the other person.
Oh, is that right?
Even if they're not on title.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that person would actually have to consent to the transaction. Yeah. So like when you go to the lawyer or you're signing in front of a title company, you'd have to provide consent if you're not on title and you're legally married.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many layers to this. See, we could talk.
Well, we would talk about this for 5 years, but guess what? We can still talk about something new. And obviously, it's January. It's the first of the year. We're actually recording in a new studio, which is cool.
Which is fantastic.
I know you put on a fancy shirt.
I dressed up.
So any of you that are watching us on the internet later and you're watching our video, you can see Todd's fancy
He
shirt.
has the Volvo. I have the Mitsubishi, but I have the fancy shirt. And he does
exactly.
Not. He has the nice parking spot. I'm on the street.
Today. I wore something more casual.
That's right. He's got the prime parking spot here, and I'm on the street.
That's okay. You know what? It's January. I think the first of the year is a great time for a fresh start. Wouldn't you agree? I love a new month, and I love a new week, and I love a new year. And I think starting this year, people are going in with some concerns. Obviously, what's going on in the economy, rates, all these things. Yeah. And we're going to be talking throughout our show about Mary Debtmas. I know it's kind of a funny word. That's not a real word.
You made it up.
I made it up, but we've been talking about Mary Debtmas for years. And Mary Debtmas is a great time to think about your finances. We talk a lot about refinance. We're going to talk about that later in the show as well.
Yeah. So in the next segment, we're going to talk about property assessments here. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to give everybody
we talked about it January 2022. I would almost like to play some of those clips back. Yeah. I actually read and listened to our interview today. Assessments in Halifax are up. Yeah. Obviously, that's impacting people. People are already feeling the squeeze.
And, of course, we've got people who are renewing, who are coming off a good mortgage rate. They're
coming into a higher interest rate. And they're going to pay more property taxes.
And they're going to pay more property tax. So it's kind of a perfect storm right now, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure it is.
Yeah. Okay, so we are thrilled that everybody's tuned in right here on City News, 95.7 in Halifax. We absolutely love that you're listening, and we've got lots and lots to talk about, and that we hope you stick around. Again, we're going to be talking about refinancing as well. And what else you got there, just quickly?
We're going to talk about refinance. We're going to talk about what's going on with the rates. We can talk about Bank of Canada, and obviously like what's going on with the assessments and all these things.
Exactly. Okay, Mortgage 101, your guide to home ownership. We will be right back.
If you've liked what you've heard and you want to learn more, feel free to visit us online at teamclinton.ca.